everyone, welcome back to Bonding with the Feminine. In this video I want to specifically hit on nourishment during labor and kind of debunk some of the theories that have been circulated in the birthing world for a very long time that we should not be eating, sometimes even drinking during labor, because that is so historically I think that, or I know that eating during labor, nourishing yourself during labor was frowned upon or not necessarily encouraged or allowed, because when you're in the hospital there is a chance that there is a medical intervention to happen, there could be a cesarean, there could be a surgical procedure. So that is why the hospital or the doctors or the staff at the hospital would not want you to be eating during labor, because if you have to have surgery, you need an empty stomach. Unfortunately, this idea or this rule is detrimental to moms in labor. There is, if you think about it in a very, very down to earth logical way, it seems crazy for your body to be going through this intense physical process of birthing a baby and you have no nourishment, you have no way to refuel your body besides ice chips. That just doesn't seem right. And I would say there are a lot of moms in labor who become incredibly fatigued. Well, you will become incredibly fatigued physically, and your body needs that energy source. We need something to give back to the body for all the work. For those of us who have had a baby before, or if you're just thinking about being in a very intense labor, eating a full meal is not what you really will feel like doing, but there's different stages of it, and let me break it down. So in early labor is comfortable, it's, it's cozy. A lot of times you're still at home, you're still conducting life in the way that you normally would, in a more relaxed way. And so that's when you're gonna wanna kind of prioritize eating, full nutritious meals that are going to set you up for success energetically in birth. In terms of being in active labor, that's your body's doing more work, it's more intense. So wanting to eat a full meal is not necessarily the priority, I guess I would say. But there are moments where you need a little pick-me-up, or you're becoming dehydrated and you need to have that amazing kind of electrolyte drink to bring you back, to rejuvenate, revitalize your body. And I can remember when I was in active labor, I was, taking small sips, and there was at one point, I just didn't want anything, nothing. I'm like, don't touch me, nothing. I don't want to drink anything. I don't want to eat anything. And my midwife looked at me and she said, you have to drink this, or I'm going to put an IV in your arm and give you fluids. And I did not. The last thing you want when you're in active labor is to be poked with a needle. And I was like, okay, I'll drink it. So I want to kind of give some advice on how to maintain our energy levels or support our body nutritionally as we're moving through. Really important is to just pack snacks. If you are traveling to the hospital or traveling to a birthing center, you're leaving your home, pack snacks that you know for sure that you like, that you've eaten throughout your pregnancy, that you're going to be able to tolerate. Some things that I packed in my bag would have been, I had honey sticks, I had beef jerky, and there was a lot of fruit present at the birthing center that I went to, along with popsicles. Popsicles are amazing, especially if you can make them homemade and you can get some really amazing ingredients in there. The fruit mixed with the electrolytes and maybe some sweetener, honey, whatever your choice is, that can make a big difference. And you're not feeling like you're having to ingest something. You're more your mouth is definitely going to be dry as you become dehydrated, so you're able to kind of just wet the inside of your mouth, cool the inside of your mouth off without feeling like you're kind of taking in this liquid, if that's not what your body necessarily wants, but you need that hydration. The popsicles are amazing. But back to the snacks, I love fruit because it is going to have the natural sugars and the carbohydrates to energize you. Your body can use that as fuel. And then the beef jerky or the beef sticks, because we have that protein source. We all know how important protein is for every cellular system. I don't know why I can't think of a good word for that, but for every cellular. I would also suggest Little snacks like nuts, your favorite kind of nut, nut butter packs if you're vegetarian or you're vegan and you wouldn't use a beef jerky or beef stick for a protein source. Nut butter packets are amazing, mixed nuts as well. I highly recommend dates too. Dates are an amazing source of carbohydrates and fast energy, and our body and our cervix really love dates, especially during pregnancy. So that's probably, as far as snacks go, little things, not like, you don't need to think of meal wise, just little things you can kind of pop in your mouth and nibble on throughout labor. Like you might eat a handful of nuts or you might eat 6 nuts, you know, depending on what your body needs. And this is the point where your hunger cues are going to come in and your intuitive eating is going to play a big role. When you're in labor, it's important to be in the body, connected to the body, listening to the body in many different ways that we'll talk about so many times here at Bonding with the Feminine. But in terms of following your hunger cues when you're in labor, just knowing like, hey, I need a quick drink, or hey, I just need I need a honey stick real quick, or you know, just give me a little bit, like a handful of fruit. That's important to recognize. And also educating your support team on reminding you to hydrate, reminding you to eat, because you will be in a completely different world mentally and you will forget. It's what our support team is there for. They can, hey, we need to take a drink of water, or hey, we need to have a little Even snack. If you're not feeling it, there were times in my labor when I was like, don't bring that near me, but it was like, you gotta, like, your body needs this right now. And if you don't take care of it right now, it's gonna be an issue later on in labor. I mentioned earlier in the video how much work our body is doing and how it's important to re-energize, refuel, rehydrate, because if we let our body stay fatigued and we're not replenishing, when things get really hard or really intense down the road, we're not going to have those stores built up to maintain. So in terms of hydration, obviously we want electrolyte rich drinks. I would say, honestly, when you're in labor, whatever sounds good is good. Essentially, like, you don't want overly sugary sports drinks because you're gonna spike your blood sugar, and you know, we don't have time for a blood sugar crash when we're in labor. But if you're able to make your own electrolyte rich drink, so if I used to make this thing, it's called Labor Aid. It's coconut water, lime or lemon juice, or both, and just some honey. And that together, and a little bit of salt as well, but that together provides you this, you know, incredibly hydrating electrolyte rich drink. But there's also a little bit of flavor in there as well, which can be just like a nice little pick-me-up when you're in labor. I mentioned earlier homemade popsicles too, or if you can find a really good brand that has amazing ingredients as far as popsicles go. Like I said, you don't feel like you're ingesting all this liquid if that's what, like, your belly's not wanting it, but you need it. You can just wet the inside of your mouth, you know, suck on it a little bit, and you're still getting that, you know, electrolyte support. And you know, just plain old water with electrolytes in it, or with some sea salt in it, you know, that can go a long way as well. Just little sips, you know, there's no need to be chugging or whatever it is, just little sips here and there to kind of just wet the mouth and, you know, replenish the hydration that might be going on, or sorry, the dehydration that might be simple. So like I said, packing snacks that you know that you're gonna love, or that you are going to enjoy while you're in labor, tolerate during labor. Little snacks, it's nothing extravagant, very simple. Same with the hydration. I love a good Labor Aid. It's amazing, and it honestly goes a long way. You wouldn't think so, but it does. But you know, any kind of electrolyte rich drink that is healthy, that's not going to cause a blood sugar crash, we're here for. One other thing I want to mention too, which I do get this question, or I have gotten this question in the past, is, you know, I'm not supposed to bring food into the hospital. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to have this in the hospital. Or if you're bringing something that needs to be refrigerated, like a popsicle, and the hospital, like, you're not supposed to have that, fuck it. And essentially, pack your dry snacks in your bag. You don't have to tell anybody about it. And if you want to bring a cooler in, bring a cooler in, bring your popsicles. Or, you know, if it's something you don't want to worry about and you have a doula or a different support person, have them bring it in. You know, at the end of the day, you are the one paying the hospital. You're paying that doctor. If you want to bring your own snacks in while you are giving life, you do that. We will talk about this a lot, but you know, knowing what your options are and knowing that this is your labor, you make choices for your own labor. You design your labor the way you want it to be, and one of those decisions is nourishing yourself and hydrating yourself during labor, and that is your right, and you can do that if you want to do it, no matter if somebody is telling you no. Remember who's paying the bill and do what you want.